3, 2, 1.
That'll work.
We are here.
Boom.
Thank you for joining again. If you're here for this week, you're probably our only fan. Hashtag Ginger Stick Only Fans.
Well, hey, but you know what though? This episode will come out post Mile of Music.
It will come out.
We could have tens of new fans.
We could have tens.
After
we could have tens.
Dude,
maybe a dozen.
I've been reading so many band bios this week. I think I'm gonna barf. I got buzzed right in the buzzword. Everyone's taking things by storm and bursting out of places and. Yeah.
Well, here, let's do the math. We have 4 shows as a full band.
Correct.
If we say, hey, we've got a podcast at each of those shows, that is 2 to 3 new listeners per show,
Right.
making it
Tens.
8
1
to
dozen.
12.
1 dozen.
8 to 12. Those 8 to 12 people are going to be very impressed for the episode that they watch. And then we'll see if they watch after that.
Yeah. We'll do something that'll turn them off.
Probably. If it wasn't the Packers fan experience at Lambeau last week, in which I went a little too far. Packer fans are great. We are spoiled, but we are great.
And not great.
We have work to do. Here.
I think they should make the singing of Roll Out the Barrel contingent on your behavior. Like a parent.
Make it into a minor key.
Have you earned it? You don't deserve to sing Roll Out the Barrel today.
Well,
Making noise when we're on offense, being quiet when we're on defense.
or we just don't do it at all. If the guy in charge says, boy, this crowd has not been engaged, they do not deserve Roll Out the Barrel.
That's right.
That's fine too. That's an option.
That's right.
You know, it's like, hey, you guys, we didn't deserve it today. There's no Roll Out the Barrel. Or you change it to a minor key and make it sound sad.
Or
Do you like the Trent Reznor version of Roll Out the Barrel?
Or should they give the bad crowds the wave, because we all know how much you appreciate that.
I am pro-wave.
Dude, let me explain to you.
We are a podcast divided. I support it. When
Let me
we're on
explain.
defense, I am pro-wave. It's
Why?
a uniting, because it's a uniting thing, and anytime 75
No,
of
you're
those
not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
No, I'm not.
Because
what?
you're paying attention to how to stand up and not watching the field.
You do it during like huddles and shit. There's a time and a place for the wave.
Okay, let me.
When we're on defense and there's not active ball being played.
I've got more important things to do than stand up in unison,
Like sing Roll Out the Barrel.
like watching the actual play unfold.
But there isn't I'm saying there isn't a play unfolding.
Right, but I like
If
to
it's a
watch the
timeout.
formations. I like to see where the defense is lining up. I like to see the pre-play stuff and when the huddle breaks. I like to see what formation and what type of defense they're in, what type of offense they're in. I like seeing that stuff. I don't have time to stand up in unison with somebody next to me who's not watching the game. But
Maybe
here,
they would be watching the game because they'd want to be more like you. You doing the wave with them then sort of turns
It's never gonna happen.
I want to do more stuff with them.
and here, let me get back to the history of the wave first. History of the
Which
wave
you've done.
started at baseball games because, as you've stated
There's
before,
not a lot going on.
There's not a lot going on. It was done out of boredom as something to do to fill time during pitches and hits. There are 162 games. I get it. If you're at 82 of those games and you go to one of those games, you're going to be bored for a good chunk of it. If you feel like standing up in unison, great. There are only 17 NFL games and probably anywhere between 8 and 9 home games. Every single play is important. Why do we got to? Are you bored? Just watch what's happening.
But it's
Pay attention.
not during the play. What about halftime? What if a wave kicks off during halftime? Would you participate
No.
in that? See, what's your reasoning now besides that you're a fuddy-duddy?
Because I'm checking my fantasy football scores. I got no time for. Look, the wave
Dude,
is just
fantasy
dumb.
football
It's just
stresses
dumb.
me out.
It does stress
I
me.
couldn't do it. Because what do you do? Like these like super uber competitive fantasy football leagues with like money and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you do when like let's say, I don't know, whoever, Tyreek Hill or some other dirtbag who punches ladies is on your fantasy team because he's faster than a car. What do you do when he's playing against your actual favorite team?
I root for my favorite team because it's always first over fantasy football.
But wouldn't it stress you out though, like knowing that like we're gonna win, but I'm gonna lose a lot of money today?
I genuinely don't care about my fantasy football team in whatever happens in a Packer game. I just don't care. Packers are
And
number
you're
one.
not playing like super high stakes fantasy football.
Yeah, I am.
Are you comfortable?
Sharing the dollar amount?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that's high.
But it's high. No, honestly, you could be a fan.
Could you buy a new base if you came in first in fantasy football?
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And
A
an amp?
nice base?
Depends on the league, but if I win it all, yeah. Wow. No, I'm just saying it doesn't matter. Like fantasy football is background compared to being a Packer fan. I want the Packers to win. I don't care how they win. I don't care who scores points. I don't care who's on my team. I don't care if they're in that game. I just care about the Packers winning, and then fantasy football is second. That's it.
That's interesting. Like psychologically.
I don't care. I will happily, like pay money if it got me a Packers win.
But that's fascinating when you think the psychology of fandom is very interesting.
But if I have fantasy football players from the Packers, which I normally shy away from because I feel like I'll jinx them in some way, so I don't pick a lot of Packers. I just don't.
Do you really believe that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I have seen a lot of shit.
I've never known you to be a superstitious man.
I am not a superstitious person, but I am because I've seen a lot of shit
I'm not,
with the
but I
Packers.
am.
No, when it comes to Packers, for sure. Absolutely.
Do you have an outfit that you wear on Sundays?
I have a rotating cast of outfits that I carefully select each week.
Well, now you're just describing clothes. Everybody has that.
No. They're Packer-specific outfits. It's usually a jersey-specific
Like Sunday-only outfits.
It's always a jersey that I go with because of reasons that seem to make sense.
Okay.
And then I let that roll until maybe there's a really bad game and we got to change it up.
Do you do that thing where, like, I know you watch the games alone, but, like, you know how some people have that thing where, like, if they're doing a specific thing and the Packers score, they have to keep doing that thing? You do that?
Sometimes.
What's the weirdest example of that?
Just a regular example.
I was
I'll give
smoking weed once when the Packers scored.
No.
I had to smoke
never
the whole
stopped.
I
weed.
had to smoke the weed. No, I will say, here's an excellent example. If I am, say, standing up for some reason because I jumped up and I'm just stressed about watching the game, and something good happens, probably going to keep standing. I'm just
For
gonna
the
keep doing it
duration of the game.
until I feel like something doesn't work, and then I'll go sit back down.
Okay.
So I just, I feel like especially the jersey jinx that is in my family history is quite significant.
Explain.
And my friends have also noticed they thought I was crazy until I showed them how this jersey jinx works. Adam knows
I know.
exactly how the jersey jinx works because let me tell you what jersey he bought last offseason.
Oh, that jersey.
Zadarius Smith. Got injured before camp. Came to training camp, practiced once, got hurt. Played week 1, got hurt. Tried to play and then practice. And then
But
he
now
also
That's why you got to
but
go
now I have
retired
a
veteran,
safe
dude.
Packer jersey I can wear.
that's
Which-
part
which,
of it.
which is what?
He now has the 55 jersey. That's blank. It's
I can don it every Sunday.
it's the new rookie outside linebacker, so you'll just want to be careful there.
Just get a throwback AJ Hawk jersey.
So
care
that's
for
where my
AJ
head
Hawk.
goes.
That's
so
what you
I
do.
have
I'd get
a
like
blank.
a Woodson jersey, probably.
That too.
See, that's a perfect one. I have a
But
blank.
AJ, if you watch the Pat McAfee show, AJ Hawk
yeah.
is hilarious.
He is-
Like, I'm
he
a
is.
fan of him as a man.
Yeah,
He wears a Chuck Berry
but you're
t-shirt all
but
the
you're
time.
on the right path.
Yes.
If you pick a player who you cannot jinx, you pick a player who's a former player, a Hall of Fame player, or you go with the blank Packer jersey with no number like I've gone to for many, many years to be safe and not jinx anybody. But
No number. Like, is there just 0 on it?
there's just blank. There's
You get
nothing.
the special edition Brett Favre jersey that comes with no pants and a pair of Crocs.
Awesome.
And then it rips off taxes from
sends
the
free
people in the
dick
state of
pics.
Mississippi.
Do you ever, in your superstition, feel responsible for a loss? Or does
Yes.
it not extend quite that far?
Yes.
Are you to blame for the somewhat poor postseason showings of late? Are you doing something?
No.
Are you eating Cool Ranch Doritos and
No.
messing this whole thing up?
Well, and here's the thing.
They're so good.
When I
Ranch
go
Doritos.
when I
Love
go to
Cool
games,
Ranch.
it's
Doritos.
nacho cheese. Get out.
No way.
Stop.
Ugh.
Stop
oof,
it.
oof.
Cool Ranch. Ugh.
No.
You don't like
nacho
Cool Ranch
cheese.
Doritos?
No. I like every other kind of Dorito more than Cool Ranch Dorito.
I think we can all agree on this statement. There's really never been a bad Dorito. They're all good in just various
That is
different
true.
levels of good.
It's Cool Ranch, sweet spicy chili,
Those
then
are
maybe nacho cheese.
What about taco?
see, taco's probably at the lower end.
See,
But you gotta
taco would
dip
be.
it.
Yeah.
competing with Cool Ranch for dead last on
I
mine.
never felt like they had much flavor. Like
That's
you can never
exactly
go
it.
wrong with a bag
They're
of Cool
good for
Ranch.
dip.
But the spicy
Yeah.
ones are good.
The sweet, yeah.
But for me,
Yeah.
it's nacho cheese every time.
But
So-
there's just so many other good nacho cheese things out there that
Like what?
take, like Cheetos. I would take
Che-
a nacho. I would take a
probably.
Cheeto over a nacho cheese Dorito.
Well,
But they don't taste the same.
Yeah, but it's the
It's-
same family. I don't need
It's
two
puff
nacho
Puffed
Frito-Lay.
or
cheese.
crunchy?
I could do either.
Adam.
really?
I like them both.
Adam.
See,
Come on. You're not even living. It's crunchy.
now I will
always.
say,
Unless it's a ball.
I think they've gone a little too far with the flaming hot flavor. It seems like it's in everything now.
Yeah, like I don't know if this was on air, on the pod.
We briefly
On
discussed.
pod.
I
that.
discussed that I was at the store and they had flamin' hot Cheetos flavored macaroni and cheese.
Gross.
And I went, that sounds disgusting. Let me grab some, take it home, make it, ruin that bowl because it stained it flame red. And it was
and that's in your gullet,
truly terrible.
and that's that went through your system.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
I couldn't, I mean, like, I have a 13-year-old son, as you know.
Yes.
And I gave him a bite, and he was like, I'm all set. I found something a 13-year-old boy won't eat in macaroni and cheese form. And it was terrible.
great.
And it didn't,
That's not
like,
good.
Yeah. And it was like, you know when you see something and you're just like, just the color of it, you go like,
It's
shouldn't
off.
eat
It
that.
Nothing in
shouldn't-
it- nothing
well, yeah,
on
mac
Earth.
and cheese shouldn't be bright red.
And it was bright red. Like it looked like you could turn it off. Like it looked like it was lit up red.
There's
It was
nothing.
terrible.
There's nothing natural on Earth the color of flaming hot powder.
Correct. Hey, while we're talking about food, I had a thing we could talk about.
Okay.
Somewhat controversial.
Uh-oh.
You remember when it came out that people were like, Taco Bell's meat isn't even really meat, it's mostly sawdust. And that proved to not be true,
Yeah.
but it was out there.
Yeah.
Was I the only one that when I heard that was like, well, that's pretty cool? I know
Yes.
what sawdust is.
Yes.
That's
you.
true.
If they can figure out a way to make all natural like sawdust edible, let's go. Compared to like what's in a hot dog, I would so much
Oh,
rather eat
that's true.
taco flavored sawdust. If they confirmed
I was in
that it was
fourth-
sawdust, would you eat it?
No.
Why?
I don't eat. No.
Why?
Why would I want to eat sawdust?
Because what if it tastes really good?
I don't care if it tastes really good.
What's the objection?
Sawdust is probably not supposed to be eaten by humans.
But what if doctors come out and go like, oh no, there's no negative effects of eating sawdust.
There's a lot of things you can eat that don't have a negative effect, but I'd rather eat something that is a positive effect in my diet.
What if that's what Impossible Burgers are? Technically, sawdust is plant-based.
I can't.
This is true.
I can't eat
It's
those
tree,
anymore.
and tree is plant.
I cannot eat those anymore.
You
I
can't
do it.
anymore. Why? Did something happen?
Here's my thing. You've got like a kind of like a whole shitload of stuff in this burger. And a lot of stuff that I don't really know is super healthy or not. Whereas I could just go eat like meat that is, because I'm not a vegetarian, I would rather just eat like chicken. I'm okay eating chicken because they're little dinosaurs. And if they were larger, they would eat us.
That's true.
I mean, I totally get the environmental impact of having to get away from factory farms. I totally am very supportive of that. Working with local small farmers for things. What was the name of that place when we played at the shitty barn? That taco place that would pop up.
Yes.
And that's all that they did was they
Yes.
were very, very small. It's like Enos Farms or Enos Farms.
Yes.
Yes, they're amazing.
ENOS.
They are amazing. But that's the kind of thing, like locally sourced farmer who takes care of the animals. That's the best way to go. I mean, people need to eat. I would love to be vegetarian, but it's also tough. It's also tough to do that.
There's not a lot of vegetables that you can put hot sauce on and get that satisfying feeling.
I need hot sauce.
I know.
I need it.
And barbecue. Although,
Whole jackfruit.
you had us over to your house and you made some delightful Korean barbecue, like cauliflower tacos.
I did, actually. That's right.
Ooh.
That's right. I make
Super good.
vegan cauliflower Korean barbecue tacos.
Super good. And Tori whipped up some of those like cauliflower hot wings in the air fryer once.
Yep, those are pretty
also
good.
pretty good.
Those are pretty good. Anything that I can put hot sauce on,
Yes.
I'll probably eat it.
Yes.
So here's a sort of a social awareness topic.
Uh-oh.
Is it okay to bring your own hot sauce to a restaurant?
Yes.
Okay. See, I think it's fine.
I think it's okay. Well,
Maybe it depends on the restaurant. I'm not gonna bring it to like a higher end restaurant,
Sure.
but I will bring it if like. So Sarah and I went to Stuck's Pizza, and
Sure.
we brought our own hot sauce because we love hot sauce and pizza.
Yeah.
That seems like it's okay.
You know what you should do?
Yeah.
Is it like a thinner sauce or is it a thicker sauce?
It depends on where we're eating, but usually they're a little bit thicker.
Okay. If it was thinner, I would say get you a squirt gun and a shoulder holster. And when no one's looking, take that thing out, put the silencer on, and just... Because also, even if they're upset with you, they're not going to say anything.
Yeah.
Sir?
That's true.
With the squirt gun? Yeah. Full of hot sauce? I don't think so, guy.
I don't think so, guy.
I don't
Sir?
think
Sir?
most of the time you're not paying extra for hot sauce, so they're not
That's
losing
true.
They're
money.
not losing money.
Right.
That's true. They're not losing money. But part of it is, like, if you go to a place where there's like a chef who's prepared the menu a specific way, I almost feel like you should probably eat it how it's designed because that's how it was intended by the chef at a nicer place, right?
Yeah.
But
I go back and forth on that. Like, I get that like, I wouldn't want someone to come to my show and go like, do the first verse second, the second verse first. Like, that's not how I've prepared this, sir.
can you play
Just
that song
eat it.
later?
But on the other hand, sometimes you go to a place and you just like, I'm all for like no wacky substitutions.
Yeah.
But if I'm going like, hey, could you just not put onions on that though?
Right.
I've had people go like, it comes with onions. And I'm like, not today, guy.
Okay.
I don't know what to tell you.
Great. So take the onions off,
Right.
or your tip goes away. I'm just kidding. I wouldn't do that. Sarah always says that I'm a very generous tipper because I actually
Yes.
did that job for a short time, and it
Yeah.
fucking sucked.
It's the worst job.
Well,
you
I
could
always look at it
possibly
too. I've
have.
done it as well, but I also look at it as like, if you add, you tip generously and then add like $2 or $3 to even that.
Mm-hmm.
To you, it's like $2. What does that do for you? But if that server got an extra $2 at every table today,
Oh, yeah.
that's pretty impactful.
Oh, yeah.
Most people have bad days. This idea that like I got bad service, so I tipped shitty. Like, people's parents die sometimes, and they still have to go to work because everything sucks.
Yeah.
I made a mistake last week, and it was vaguely sexist,
Oh.
and I want to fix it. I said the mayor of Chicago wanted to put a dome over Soldier Field, and I said if he wants to do that, he's an idiot. But the mayor of Chicago is a woman.
That's right.
Shame on my, patriarchal views of things. I apologize. If she wants to do that, she's an idiot.
Right. We are.
Boom.
We are even,
Corrected. Don't put a dome on Soldier Field.
As I also said during the podcast, I don't fucking care, Bears. Do whatever the fuck you want. It doesn't matter.
It's historical, dude. I mean, they're not going to be playing there for long anyways. But
No. What's a show that you used to watch when you were younger that you can't believe you actually watched as much as you watched?
I watched a lot of Magnum PI, but I'm not sure that wouldn't hold up. Just like the camp value of it. Something I used to watch that I can't. There was a time that I was very young, and I thought the Power Rangers looked really cool. And you watch it now, and it's
pretty bad.
It's really, really bad. Specifically, there's always a 2-second delay between someone gets hit,
oh, that
and then they
weird,
go, oh.
yeah, it's just so weird. I get it. Isn't it supposed to be to pay tribute to the way that a lot
Old
of the
kung fu
Yes.
movies and things like that. What about you?
I definitely watched an insane amount of Saved by the Bell.
Oh yeah.
I probably could win a lot of trivia in regards to that show if there was a trivia about Saved by the Bell. But I definitely watched that a lot. I think that's probably. I know everybody kind of did, so that's maybe. Adam, how about you? Let me think of
I'm
another
in the
one.
same boat with Power Rangers. That was my show when I was a kid.
The Pink Ranger caused many an awakening.
I had a super awesome little Megazord
As did, to be
toy.
fair, probably the blue one.
I guess,
It's a forward-thinking podcast. That's fine.
Yeah, I can't think. So you watched Power Rangers? You guys see, I did not really watch. I watched
a lot
it a
of Power
little
Rangers. I'd think. Well, what else did I watch? This is a TGIF kind
Oh,
of kid.
yeah.
Step by Step,
Step by
Boy
Step.
Meets World.
Boy Meets World.
Family was Family Matters.
Yep, Family
Yes.
Matters is in there.
Yep.
Boy Meets World. Boy Meets World. Fucking rocks, dude.
I love that show.
It's still great.
still.
And
Still
he,
great.
Fred Savage, hasn't aged a year
Or
since.
Ben Savage.
Ben Savage.
Sorry, Fred Savage was Wonder Years.
Yes.
Fred Savage
and
story.
Princess Bride, and he directed a bunch of episodes of It's Always Sunny.
Did any of you see the Super Troopers? Not the Super Troopers 2, the second one.
No.
It's really good.
Okay.
But the funny part about that is there's an ongoing joke about Fred Savage.
Oh.
And you don't find out about what happened until the very, very end credits. I won't spoil it, but
Okay.
it's pretty hilarious.
I should see that. I liked the first one.
Oh, the second one's like surprisingly really good.
Okay.
I would highly recommend. But I would say that, I don't know. I think Boy Meets World. I didn't watch the newest reboot. Apparently, I
No.
didn't see. But
Girl
I tell
Meets
you what,
World.
back in the day, when Corey and Topanga were fighting,
It was
and
hard.
Topanga broke up with Corey in the restaurant.
A lot of pain there.
Oh,
Didn't she like leave and move to, where were they, in Pennsylvania? She like moved to Philadelphia or something.
Yeah.
Philadelphia
She
with
was
her.
gonna
And she
move.
came
Well,
back.
she did
and she
move.
did come back.
And then there was that episode where they went on the ski trip,
oh,
and Corey met that hottie that worked at the ski chalet.
Right.
And
Who
that was the
then-
whole thing.
Yep.
They talked about stars, and the whole time you're like, Corey, no!
don't do it, Corey. What about Topanga, you bitch? Damn it! And then they broke up after that.
They did. A lot of pain there.
Did
That
you
was-
know that? So remember Frankie, the big guy? Or wait, what was the big guy's name on that show?
You're talking about Ethan Suplee, though.
Yes.
And he's jacked
Yeah,
now.
he's humongous now.
So the
I also know
smaller
him as
guy,
Randy from My Name is Earl.
the smaller guy, when they were, was him and the smaller guy.
Yeah.
The smaller guy
Rat?
is the guitarist
Something?
from Rilo Kiley.
Yes. He has Ben, no. Josh, no.
But anyway,
Yes.
yes. Is it Frankie?
Might have been.
What is
I don't remember.
I can't remember. But anyway,
I
it's the
Google
shorter
it?
of the two.
I'm the producer. I can
Adam,
Google
Why don't
it.
you
Please
produce
research
something,
this.
guy?
Produce something.
God almighty.
Adam, OnlyFans / Ginger Stick.
This Rilo Kiley guitar
I'll
player.
be with you in a few minutes.
It's going to bug. The second you say his name, I'm going to go like, oh, yeah.
But speaking of, Jenny Lewis is also the
Yes.
other half of Rilo Kiley, and
Correct.
her last record is really good.
Really?
Yeah, I would highly recommend it. It's really good.
She's also, a lot of people don't know this, pretty much officially a member of the Postal Service.
Yeah, she is.
When they
Yes, she
toured.
is.
The band consisted of Jenny Lewis, Blake Sennett,
That's who you're thinking
Pierre de Reeder, and Dave Rock.
of. Shaklacky!
Well, I don't know. I'm just saying Frankie was the character from Boy Meets World, who is the actor who's in Rilo Kiley. I don't know if what his name is, but
No, Frankie was Ethan Suplee,
Yeah, the big guy.
the big guy.
oh, I'm sorry, not the big guy.
The other guy. that
Yes,
hung
the
out with
shorter
Frankie.
guy. Yes, the shorter guy. Yes.
Let's see if I can find villains from Boy Meets World.
Villains from. Well, I can tell you one of them was
Minkus.
Minkus.
That kid sucked.
Oh, the
bastard.
kid was the worst. Thank God they got rid of him after the first few seasons.
Remember that one where Sean joined a cult?
That one is so good.
Yeah, and Corey's dad gets all rowdy.
You're
You're not taking Sean.
Oh my God! I love that his dad is the same character in every show. Home Improvement, he's the same guy
Yeah.
as he is in Grandma's Boy.
Yeah.
and, like everything else that guy's in.
It was Joey the Rat.
Joey the
Epstein,
Rat.
The Rat Epstein.
Blake Sennett.
Blake Sennett.
Yep.
Yeah, there it is.
Who was in
there
Rilo
it is, in
Kiley,
Rilo Kiley.
and has a solo career as well.
Oh, does
He's
he?
a very good guitar player.
Oh, that's awesome. I didn't know that. So Adam Scott was also
Yes.
in Boy Meets World.
Oh.
Chris Hardwick was also in Boy Meets World. I didn't know
Yes.
that either.
Yeah,
The,
it's crazy.
The redheaded woman
Which
in later seasons.
There's a-
Eric's
Yes.
girlfriend.
Makes adult films now.
What?
And says it's the most satisfying move she's ever made as an actor. I read an article on yahoo.com. Said she gets to play much more, I swear to God, it sounds like I'm kidding. She said she gets to play much more challenging roles and much more involved characters.
Okay.
Which website did you see it on?
Yahoo. Those terrible webs. Which one?
Which one was she
specifically?
on specifically? I don't know if I believe you. We'll have to look. It's crazy though to think of how many people from that show have just done all sorts of different things.
Yes.
in general. I mean, it's pretty crazy.
Have you seen
Yeah.
the newest Batman yet?
Yes.
Did you enjoy it?
I think it was good, but it wasn't better than, I don't know.
I enjoyed it. I'm glad I watched it.
Yes.
It felt like at a certain point, it was just like, oh, geez. Like, it's so broody
Yeah.
and, like, dimly lit and raining the whole time. And, like, I liked it.
Yeah.
But there was it was a bit long.
It's very long.
And they did this thing, and I don't think it's a spoiler, but, like, the thing with the main villain is apprehended at a certain point, and you go like, okay, that was a movie. And then you check the
Yeah.
thing, and you're like, nope, 45 more minutes.
I was gonna say, I feel like that movie had 5 or 6 different points where I thought it was the end.
Yes.
Or it could have ended.
Could have been, and I would have
just
been very
fine.
satisfied.
Yeah.
Yes. But I did think that Pattinson crushed it, man.
Yeah, he did good.
People got to learn to stop reacting to the new Batman before they see them, because Affleck was good.
I haven't seen
Yeah?
the Affleck one.
They are not good. He is good.
He is good, but
Those films are bad.
Oh, let's not forget the mid '90s reign with the Schwarzenegger and all the weird Jim Carrey's weird character.
Dude,
and-
that fourth, it's called Batman and Robin with Jim Carrey as Mr. Freeze. It is the worst movie I've ever
it's
seen
pretty
in my
bad.
life.
What's the worst movie you've ever seen? Adam?
I was just
Worst.
going to ask you the same question. Worst movie I have ever seen.
And it can't be The Room. So perhaps we should tweak the question to, is there a movie that everybody thinks is fantastic that you
Yes,
hated?
Yeah, yeah.
Go.
probably.
I would say the first Hunger Games. I was just kind of like at the end where all of a sudden there was those like dog
I've never seen it.
attacking things, which made no sense. They just kind of came out at the end.
Sure.
And then Sarah, who's a big fan, and other people who are big fans of the book were like, oh, well, there's a whole storyline of these creatures throughout the book series. I'm like, right. But in the movie, they
Which is
just
what
sort
I
of
saw.
came in at the very end, and there was no context. But I remember seeing it and thinking, like, being excited for it, and everyone's like, oh, my God, it's so good. I'm like, yeah, I mean, I get it, but I don't think it's this amazing, groundbreaking film that people are saying. Sure. But apparently, like in many cases, the books are more thorough and better. But that was one where I was just expecting more, and it just didn't resonate.
Adam.
I would have to say most Marvel movies, just because I don't really care for comic book movies all that much.
I haven't really watched hardly any of them.
It's what is one movie that you love but everybody hates?
Oh, there's a billion of those.
Oh, one of my top favorite all-time bad movies of all time is Halloween 3.
Oh.
That's got like a big cult following too.
Yeah, but also as many people, if not more, hate that movie.
Oh yeah, because Michael Myers.
It just
isn't
should have
even
been
in
called something else.
He's not, it shouldn't, but that's what makes it so bad.
Right.
I get, well, what they were going for is like an Are You Afraid of the Dark style franchise where it's different every year.
Right.
We're just going to put out a different movie every Halloween.
And I
But
think
it's not good.
I think the premise of it is super interesting that this town has just been basically taken over by this, this company.
Right.
But it's just so this storyline is so jagged and like
Yep.
it's so weird.
And it comes out of left field, especially because Halloween 1 and 2 are exact sequel. Like
Right.
Yep.
Halloween 2 starts at the very end of Halloween. Like you could watch them as one movie.
Right.
Well, and then like Season of the Witch. There's not a fucking witch in there, man. There's no fucking witch in there.
There's a witch mask.
There's a witch mask, but
That's
there's
about
not a
it.
fucking witch.
Speaking of horror and movies that everybody loved, and I'm curious, especially, I don't even know if you will have seen these, but as a horror buff, I assume you've seen both. And they were hugely popular. I don't want to overstate it, hated every second of Midsummer and The Lighthouse.
Never seen either of them.
They're terrible.
You did talk about this after we talked about Willem Dafoe's Baby Arm
That's true.
Yes.
in week 1.
But no, we said we get back to it. Have you seen either one of them?
No.
Well, then we can't
You
talk
told,
about
well,
it.
no, but you told me not to see them, and then you told
Because they're
me,
awful.
yeah,
They're like these. Everyone love like I'm not into like. This will make me sound dumb, and it's fine because at least I'm having a good time. I'm not into like cerebral horror. I'm into like
psychological horror.
I mean like I like Silence of the Lambs and that kind of thing. But I don't like when like no, it's because The real horror is the meditation on grief.
Right, we
Stab.
don't need deeper meanings in horror movies.
No.
That's why they're there. They're
Life already
mindless
has enough
movies.
meaning. Just want dumb horror.
One underrated film that I saw was, and I don't know how popular it was, The Strangers from like
Oh, that was good.
2007 or 8.
I thought it was
So
really
good.
good.
You know, because it's based on Charles Manson and how he had kind of gone about his business with his cult and whatever, just loosely
That's
or whatever.
that's one of those newer horror movies that actually like, it's not super different, but the way that they did things was different.
It was
than
different.
what
Dennis
everyone was
Reynolds
used to.
dies.
I have a really, really funny
was
story
awesome.
about that movie, actually.
Oh.
So in this movie, it starts with like people are like looking out their window and there's just random people like standing in their yard looking all
Yeah.
creepy. So Tori was in Africa. She took a trip to Africa. And Tori's mom and I went to the movies and we saw The Strangers. After the movie, I went home and was at my home like hanging out with friends, and I get a phone call from Tori's mom. I answer the phone and she goes, "Oh, ha ha." And I go, "What ha ha?" She goes, "I see you." And I go, "What do you mean?" She goes, "Standing in the yard. Very, very funny." Sal, I'm very much at my house right now. Like, you need to like lock your door. And she ran back to the window and the person was gone. But I was like,
Oh, I would have stayed in a hotel that night.
I just felt like, "I see you." I'm like, "I don't think you do because I'm on my couch."
Oh, no. That's not great. That's not great. One movie that scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, well, there's two, but I saw Children of the Corn at a way too
Amazing.
young age. Being a kid that lived on a farm surrounded by cornfields, I'm ready. I can watch it. It'll be fine. It was not.
So you feel the dreams? Let's go.
It was
It's
not
the
fine.
same.
It was not fine. That one scared the shit out of me. And then, did you ever see Fire in the Sky? The Travis
No.
Walton story?
No.
So it's. Do you know the Travis Walton story? He's the one that got abducted. It was a huge thing. So he worked in this lumber crew, and that's what they did was logging crew.
Oh, this sounds familiar.
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. He like basically it's one of the most insane UFO kidnapping abduction stories that's out there because he was out there with 6 crew members and they were driving through the mountains and they saw, all of them testified that they saw this light. They all passed a lie detector test. Travis decides, well, I'm going to get out. I'm going to go buy it. So they're all telling him not to do it. And then he gets sucked up by this beam and then gets abducted. And the look on his face when he gets jolted in the air scared the fuck out of me, knowing that this is based on a true story. So they get back. The police are like investigating. They assume that one of the guys murdered him because they had an altercation with Travis like earlier in the week. But he even said, out of the whole group, that they just thought that they were putting a murder investigation together. So they interviewed
So
all
Travis
these.
has not returned.
Travis has not returned.
Okay.
They think he's murdered and done. Flash forward like a week or whatever later, Travis is back, completely buck naked, found in a telephone booth with weird scars on his head. And after they were about ready to charge this group of loggers with murder, even though they all passed these lie detector tests and shit, and he's all fucked up. This is a very real, true story. You should check it out. Yeah. But there's
And it's a good movie too.
it's a very good movie. It's
okay.
mid 90s, early 90s. But I would definitely check it out. It's probably a little bit outdated, but the story is there. But listen to Travis on his podcast because, I mean, everything is documented. Police thought he was dead. There was no evidence of anything of where he went to. The city all thought that this one guy had did it because they're like, you always had it out for Travis, and you're all covering up for each other and all this other shit. And then he fucking shows back up. It's fucking so weird, and it's a true story. As far as, I mean, the guy's also passed multiple lie detector tests. He's also gone through multiple hypnotherapy sessions to figure out what happened to him, and he's been able to figure out what was going on in there, and he had little tiny memories of everything, but this abduction case is super weird. It's super weird.
Huh.
But definitely check it out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I saw Fire in the Sky way too young, and I was convinced that I was going to get abducted by aliens after that. It's like 5th or 6th grade.
I saw Arachnophobia
That's a tough one.
when I was like 8. Do you know apparently it's a comedy? I haven't
It's
seen it
supposed to
since
be,
I
yeah.
was 8. And I didn't shower for a very long time afterwards.
Ooh.
Because of that scene where the
Where they
spider's on her
gross.
face.
Yeah.
No.
So my parents would go take a shower, And I would just go in there and I would close the door and I'd turn the water on and then I would just sit there on the toilet for 10 minutes and then in the sink get my hair kind of wet for a long time. Like weeks.
That was one I probably didn't need to see when I saw it.
Do you have I have that now that I have a kid. We'll go back and like, oh, we could watch this movie because I was your age when I saw this movie. And then you watch it and you're like, Mom and Dad, what were you doing letting me watch this? Like, it's terrible.
We have not gotten Fox into watching much stuff other than Mr. Rogers, but we did last week for the first time.
Did you see the Tom Hanks Mr. Rogers?
Not yet.
I've heard it's really, really good, yeah. I haven't seen it either.
But we thought we'll change it up. It's the only screen time we give him, which is like once a week. And we picked like on HBO Max, they have all the Sesame Streets all the way back to like 1974 or whenever
they have all the South Parks too if he gets bored with Sesame Street.
Oh yeah. We turned on an episode from 1978 and holy shit.
There was one black guy and everybody kept talking about how black he was.
No, actually it's actually really extremely diverse, which is great.
Yeah.
But in between all their little songs about learning letters and numbers, somebody was on a lot of acid. Because I'm watching this stuff and I'm like, oh, this is why I love this show. I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. And then I'm like, wait a second. This is super psychedelic and Fox is watching it, which is fine. But I'm like, it's way out there. Like,
it's funny. So much stuff from the 70s just has that in it, you know.
Psychedelics weren't banned until Richard Nixon. Fuck that guy.
So many reasons. Dick Nixon.
Yeah. Old tricky dick.
He also specifically, like, there's audio of him talking about cracking down on marijuana so that you can arrest black people.
Right. There's
saying that with his mouth.
Evidence.
Like he's just a monster.
Well, we can arrest him, right? We'll arrest him.
Anyway. Adam, you'll appreciate this. I told Zim the other day at band practice, but I think it was Stephen Colbert was talking about how Trump is being investigated again. And if he is charged with a crime, it will be the first time that a president, current or former, has been charged with a crime. And some people are saying, like, you know, we shouldn't do it because we've never done it before. And Colbert goes, but times change. Like, before John Wayne Gacy, the idea of executing a birthday clown seemed awful. But then some stuff happened. Seemed like a pretty good idea.
Seems like it was okay. It was okay. Crazy Joe Davola.
Crazy Joe Davola. I'm rewatching Seinfeld right now.
It's always kind of on at some point.
Crazy Joe Davola. It holds up so.
It still holds up.
The only thing about that show that doesn't, there's some stuff like technology stuff that doesn't hold up, but in particular, and it's specific to the shirts that they put on Jerry.
Yeah.
At least like a couple times a season, he's wearing a shirt that you're just like, my guy. Like, they repurposed a parachute or a hot air balloon,
right,
and made him a shirt with like
those silk
sleeves.
shirts.
Yeah, dude. But always tucked in like pretty skinny jeans.
I had a silk shirt back in the day.
I don't want to be a pirate.
I don't want to be a pirate. Do we want to do a Packers update today?
Yeah, Mark Murphy said something funny.
All right. Mark Murphy, go ahead.
So, Tori told me someone was complaining that there aren't a lot of noon games for the Packers this year, which strikes me as an odd complaint.
Me, probably.
Yeah, like I
hate that, but go ahead.
There aren't a lot of noon games?
Yeah.
I go either way. Sometimes it's nice, whatever. Mark Murphy's response was, quote, apparently, we'd be a pretty shitty team if we had a lot of noon games.
He's accurate.
I just love like the spirit around the team right now. I don't know if it's like coming from Aaron Rodgers or if everyone is just like, screw it. Let's just say the thing we actually think.
Yeah. Well, he's right. When you win all the primetime games, the networks want those teams, which means you're always going to have the Packers following, which is huge, the largest following globally. That if you can put them on prime time to make more money, more ad revenue, it's always going to happen.
Now, why do you prefer noon games?
I prefer the noon games because I like that time slot. It's kind of in the middle of the day. It breaks up. I grew up always watching games at noon, so there's a nostalgia to it. My dad and I would watch the pregame shows, and then we would make specific sandwiches that we would eat during the noon game. right at halftime, and that was like our routine. But I also, from going to the game perspective, much rather go to a noon game because I'm getting up at a normal time. We're getting to the stadium by 8 o'clock. We're tailgating, and then we're
getting home at a good time,
and I'm getting home by 3:30 or 4, depending on when the game's over. But if it's a 3:25, it's like, okay, I'll probably be home, I don't know, by 7:30 or 8 at the latest if I get out. But the fucking night games, man. People are more drunk at night games. There are more arrests at night games.
Get home at
and
midnight.
I live 26 minutes exactly from Lambeau Field, and I'm getting home, not drinking, at like 11:30 or midnight, and then I got to go to work the next day. It's not great. It's not easy. It's not easy for anybody.
Yeah. Question for the group. I just watch as many football games as I can. Like on Sunday, I will very often watch 3 games.
I would love to.
And then the Monday game. Do you guys do that, or are you just
If I could, I
Packer
would.
fans? Why can you not?
We just don't really have the TV on around when we're hanging out with Fox.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I mean, like last year we started watching, like he was able to watch like a quarter or a half of a game with me, which is fine.
Does he even have like really the attention span for it?
He likes to watch it, yeah.
Wow.
He definitely likes. But the problem is like, and it's not even a problem. It's just the fact that I don't want to expose him to booze commercials and
It's-
just kind of
yeah.
weird, like like movie clips of stuff and TV show stuff. So, but
And
here's
there's
one
so
thing.
much. Like during a game,
There's a lot of shit.
because it's the only time I watch like live television,
Yeah.
and you forget like commercials suck and they're loud and they're
Yeah.
every 6 minutes.
They're
and it's-
annoying.
And come football
That's-
time, it'll be politician time.
Right.
Which
Well,
is just
here's
awful.
here's how I've sort of come up with a hack to that, and I absolutely love this. I don't listen to the actual game broadcast. I sync up the radio call from the Packers radio, and then it's only radio commercials. So it's usually
Sure.
like local businesses, and it's like there's no political ads. It's just, or rarely is there, but it's just all like straight up like you hear about restaurants and stores and things that they advertise on, and it's a little bit easier. Fox doesn't really pay attention to it, but the radio calls are amazing because they're the biggest homers ever. So
Yeah.
highly recommend, if you can find a way to do it, and I can help people do this at their house, to sync up the radio call on 105.7 with the TV call, and it's pretty awesome.
It is fun to listen to announcers that are rooting for your team.
Oh yeah, I'm all about. I don't want balanced.
No.
I want a fucking homer. I don't want to hear somebody say something nice about the other team.
Adam,
Fuck
do you watch
that.
a lot of games? Like I'll watch games
Yeah.
I don't even care about, and I just find it like peaceful and meditative.
Yeah.
And who cares?
I wouldn't
love it.
say I watch them. I just have
comforting.
them on.
Sure.
Because
Yeah.
normally,
Like, I
like,
might be playing guitar or something.
yeah, once football season rolls around, I used to, like, I think last year was the first year I started doing that. Outside of that, I couldn't have cared less. But
So like I'll watch the game, and then depending on what I have going on, I'll have like what do they call it? The red zone channel. And I'll have it on my phone or whatever, and I'll like listen to it because it just goes from game to game when they're about to score and stuff. So I'll listen to that because I've got fantasy football going, but I'll always watch the Sunday night game. I'll always watch the Monday night games.
yeah,
It-
Sunday and
know,
Monday nights are usually ones I'll definitely watch.
usually, but
There's something really, really wonderful about a football game you don't care about, especially
There's no
if it
stress.
ends up being a good game. Yeah,
Right.
like there's every year when the Packers are eliminated, there's a little part of me that goes like, well, the Super Bowl is gonna not be nearly as stressful. It'll be a lot of fun, and just be about like food and dumb commercials and whatever terrible thing happens at halftime. Though the weekend was good.
I thought the halftime show of the Super Bowl last year was awesome.
Was that the weekend?
That was Snoop Dogg. It was like all those
Oh, yeah, that
the
was
West Coast.
fun.
It was awesome.
The year before that was the weekend. I like the weekend.
Maybe. I thought didn't the weekend do the NBA halftime?
He might have, but he did the Super
Maybe,
Bowl too.
okay.
Because I also saw like a
Oh,
half-hour
that's right.
video
He
of
did.
that
He
woman
did.
explaining all the various Satanist, demonic.
Oh my
Devil
god, those
worshiping.
things are so fucking hilarious. I
Have you
love
seen
them. I
the
love
Monster
them.
Energy drink one?
Oh yeah, where she's
Oh.
like, look at this and look at this,
Look at this.
Satan.
Mark of the Unleash the Beast.
Mark of the Beast.
666.
Satan.
Claws. She's just. Don't you miss when conspiracy theory was fun?
Yeah.
And now it's like the end of every conspiracy theory is like, so get a machine gun and go down to this pizza place or whatever. And it's sad.
Yeah.
It was so fun when I was a kid.
They're still fun. I think what's also happened is that a lot of conspiracy theories that we grew up with have then turned out to be conspiracy fact,
Sure.
which I think is interesting because more information has come out. Like for years, the Gulf of Tonkin was sort of an unknown false flag. And a lot of people were saying that was done by us to trigger us to go into the war. A lot of people were saying that for years and years and years, and then lo and behold, documents get declassified.
Yep.
We indeed did do that to give us an excuse to go in and start this profiteering Vietnam War.
Yeah.
So like, but just like things like that if you would have said today are conspiracy and then got proven true later,
Sure.
just kind of silly stuff. But anyway, Adam, do you have any favorite conspiracy theories?
I can't think of any off the top of my head right now, unfortunately.
So I did hear an interesting theory about the Mandela Effect.
Okay.
So supposedly, when they turned on the Large Hadron Collider back in 2010 or 2008 or whatever,
yeah.
that it then immediately created an alternate parallel universe that we all shifted to. So there's little things that all of us collectively have gotten wrong because of this small shift. Well, now, I think as of like 2 weeks ago, they fired this thing back up again. So this talk kind of came to the surface of, well, wait a second. Like, do we really know the effects of turning this thing on? The answer, of course, is yes. I'm sure there's some scientists who can explain this. But it's interesting that the whole theory behind this collider is that you're trying to sort of manipulate space-time
Right.
in a certain way. But I thought that there's an interesting spin to that theory, that when they first turned it on, it may have instantaneously created an alternate universe for us that we now live in, which is what caused the Mandela Effect to sort of pop up out of nowhere.
Do you guys have Mandela Effect examples that like get you?
100%.
Because the Berenstein Bears one gets me really bad.
Yep.
And I just heard this one, and I've heard other people get it right. What color is chartreuse?
We were talking about.
We talked about
I
this.
always thought it was like a red.
Like a reddish
Yeah.
burgundy. It's green.
Yeah.
I heard that one a couple weeks ago, and it just. But then I asked like an art student, and he was like, "That's green."
So, again, Justin Kibble, friend of show.
Love him.
Him and I text about this topic a lot. And he sent me one about, what is it called? Bucket list. The bucket list. You know what a bucket
I know
list
the
is,
term,
right?
yeah.
So, do you remember hearing
Jerry
like
Seinfeld
bucket
said he
lists?
changed the B to an F, and he was done.
But the bucket list, like, do you remember that, like, over time, it's like, I feel like I heard it in my life. Well, it turns out that term supposedly didn't exist until the movie came out, which is like early 2000s.
Really?
Oh,
So-
I always thought that's why the movie was named that, because there was a play on this old
That it was named after
phrase.
something else.
Yeah.
That is not the
A
truth.
thing that exists. Oh.
That phrase supposedly did not exist before that, but that's another Mandela Effect thing that has been kind of circling the internet. I will say that the Bernstein Bears one specifically, I remember, was Stein.
Oh, yeah.
Stein. And
Yeah,
I
it's Bernstein
specifically
Bears.
remember arguing with my sisters over whether it's Bernstein or Bernstein.
Right, but never Stein.
Not once
Not
was
Stein,
it
yeah.
Bernstein,
Right.
because there wouldn't even be an argument for it.
Right.
But when you've got Steen and Stein, there's an argument. My sisters remember having the argument with me,
Yeah.
and so we were all like blown away. I'm like, there's no way it was Stain,
Yeah.
but it is. Fuck, it doesn't make sense.
Yeah. I don't get it. Do you have any?
That was mine. The Berenstain Bears is the most
That's
prominent one
a
I can
weird
think of.
one.
Yeah.
That one still gets me like, how? But so many people.
Yeah.
I just wonder, though, did my parents say it correctly, and did I pick it up somewhere wrong?
Well, but
or
so-
was
so
that
there's-
what they were
why
always saying?
Why would my sisters and I have the argument about if it's pronounced Stein or Steen?
Right. Like there's some that you can explain away. Like in Star Wars, Darth Vader never says, "Luke, I am your father." But he says something kind of similar. And then in Tommy Boy, Chris Farley says,
then that
"Luke, I am your
becomes-
father."
yes.
And
Yeah.
that becomes pop culture. That I kind of get. But then there's other ones like the Fruit of the Loom logo never had a cornucopia.
Yeah, it's
It
just
was
like
just a pile of fruit the whole time. And I'm going,
Yep.
no, it never
No.
really, it had that little brown
Cornucopia.
thing. Yeah. Nope.
That's the only place in my entire life I ever saw one.
Right.
So it's not there.
Never. The
That's fucking
Raisin
weird.
Bran son with the
That
two
is fucking-
scoops never had sunglasses.
Bullshit.
What? Wait, say that again?
On like Raisin Bran,
Yeah.
there's that son
Yeah.
with the two scoops.
Yeah.
He never had sunglasses on. And I would have sworn he always had sunglasses on.
That's an interesting one.
Yeah. And then there's one that like I don't care and I wouldn't have known, but like Pikachu from Pokemon.
Yeah.
End of his tail. Black or yellow?
I would have thought yellow.
Okay, that's what it is. But everyone was like, no, the tip is black. But it's not.
I took a shot in the dark with that one.
So back to this one about the bucket list.
Yes.
It was coined for the 2007 film, The Bucket List, not the other way around. The only reference one can find of this phrase being used before 2007 is in a book. However, it's used in the author's bio, which was updated in 2011.
And everybody read that shit.
I remember reading it daily.
I got a good one.
Interesting.
That got me, and it was not presented to me as a Mandela thing. I said this out loud, and Tori went, "That's not how it's pronounced." And I said, "Yes, it is." And we Googled it, and she was right, but everybody was saying, I swear to God, it was the
was it?
actress. There's a British actress who was in like Underworld and all those vampire movies named Kate.
Kate Winslet?
Nope,
Kate-
with a B.
Blanchett.
No. I would have sworn her name was Kate Beckinsale.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
That's not her name. It's Kate Beckinsale. With no D.
I feel like I've heard it both ways.
If you Google it, everyone's like, it was Beckinsale, dude. And it's a lot of like creepy guys that are like, I know, I Googled her a lot. But it's Beckinsale.
So, do you guys remember Jif peanut butter being called Jiffy?
That one got
Oh,
me a little
yeah,
bit.
that
Yeah,
one.
that never happened.
Never
So they
happened.
say. There's, Curious George never had a tail.
Yep. Did
Yeah.
they kind of do a plan one in The Office when they were trying to guess if Stanley did or didn't have a mustache?
Did or didn't have a mustache.
Pretty sure he did.
Sex in the City or Sex and the City?
And
It's
the
in.
city. Is
Okay.
it in?
No, it's and. But again, that one I can explain by like,
It just depends on how somebody says
you
it.
only hear people say it out loud.
Right.
Febreze?
Oh, Febreze got me.
Febreze?
Febreze?
Spell it. Spell Febreze.
Spell Febreze for me.
Is it F-E-B-R-E-E-Z?
No.
E?
No.
Febreze. One E, no double E's in the middle. See,
Kit
I
Kat.
could have, yeah.
Hyphen or no?
No.
That got me. I thought it had a hyphen.
I guess I've never really thought about that one.
Does Skechers have a T in it or not?
Yes.
Does not.
It's not.
Wow.
Does not. Let's see.
I didn't have the moolah to shell out for a nice pair of Skechers, so.
Skechers went on quite a journey from like kind of a cool like skate shoe to like dad wear.
That was like Airwalks.
Yeah,
Airwalks
Airwalks.
were like the shit back in the day, and now they're
Right.
Oh,
and
they're
now
awesome.
It's
Terrible.
dad wear again. But again, it's because the teenagers that were buying Skechers and Airwalks are 40 now. And they're like, I'm not
that's true.
buying new. I'm wearing Vans right now. dude."
Man, some of these are just crazy. But anyway,
Yeah.
That was like, we didn't really, did we talk about the Packers?
we did
remember.
briefly.
Mark Murphy.
Mark
He's
Murphy.
pretty
Is there
shitty.
any other Packers notes that you had?
New wide receiver.
That.
Do we care? Do we not care?
Well, we could talk more about it next week since we made it through the first week of training camp.
That's true. We can talk about it. Family night is Friday. Any local shout outs to anything? Anyone eat anywhere cool or go any cool restaurants?
I am going to Eleanor tomorrow.
Oh.
So we'll see how it is.
Report
I'm
back.
excited.
Good for you. That's good for you.
The current issue of Appleton Magazine is all about barbecue and where to
Really?
get good barbecue in the
Interesting.
area. I got Adam a copy.
Oh, that's interesting.
There's a barbecue place called Parker John's,
Yep.
and there's a pig in the name, and I'm furious that they're not called Porker John's.
really
Livid.
drop the.
You know,
maybe they
livid.
are.
along
and
a
it's just-
similar line, you know when Shopko closed,
Do.
they kept the optical portion of it, the business alive. How they didn't rebrand it as Shoptical?
Shoptical.
Come on,
Shoptical.
it's a slam dunk. Just call it Shoptical.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. Anyway, any other things for this week?
Oh, here's one.
Do we have any social awareness situations we need to talk about?
No.
Okay.
Probably,
no.
but no.
Probably.
But this is Monday, so when this episode comes out,
We will have finished mile.
we'll finish mile. But also, as you're watching this episode, a couple days ago on Friday, Lee Bains put out a new record.
Yes.
The Interrupters put out a new record. And the new Lee Bains record is going to be real good. The singles have all been really, really, really good.
We should try to get a show hooked up if they come through here again.
Yeah. He's been doing solo sets opening for John Moreland.
Oh,
Good for
Ooh,
him.
John
Just good
Moreland's
for him.
real good.
He's got
I
a new
like
record
him
out too.
lot.
interesting.
Do you
Yeah.
listen to Arlo McKinley?
Oh, actually,
I've heard some of his stuff. He's on like John Prine's record label,
I think
right?
so.
Yeah.
He just came out with a new one not too long ago.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're talking about this because Fox had two things he wanted us to talk about today.
All right.
Lawnmowers.
Okay.
Really quickly.
Yes.
Well, I can. Yeah.
What kind of lawnmower do you have, Adam?
I have an off-brand Briggs & Stratton. I have never changed the oil,
Strokes and
sharpened the
Bratton.
blade, done nothing to it in over 10 years, and it runs great. So I would highly recommend it.
I also have a Briggs & Stratton mower, but I have changed the oil.
Is it a
And-
riding mower?
No, it's a push mower. Is it a riding mower? A push mower? Push mower? How about you? What kind of mower do you have?
I believe I have a Toro.
Yeah.
We got it for free when we got our car. We bought our
Really?
car like
Oh, yeah,
again,
I remember.
like a decade ago.
Yeah.
If you buy a car, you get a free mower.
I remember
and never changed the oil, never done nothing, and still running. Can't say the same for the car.
Okay.
Got smashed into by a semi.
Oh,
It's done.
So-
but that mower's still kicking.
so that's good. We've talked about mowers.
Yep.
Fox, you're welcome.
Mm.
Secondly, really quickly, and we'll wrap this up. What are you currently listening to? Anything that recently has piqued your interest? A new song or a new album, new band, anything?
I'll let you go first because I'm kind of thinking.
I have been listening to old Loudon Wainwright III records. He's like a folk singer, but he's very funny. He's also an actor. He was in
Yeah.
like Knocked Up and stuff.
He was in what was that Judd Apatow show about college?
Undeclared.
Undeclared,
Great
which is great,
show.
unbelievably awesome show. By the way,
The British kid from that
yeah,
show
Charlie Hunham.
is the big guy from the motorcycle TV.
So funny story.
What's that show called?
The motorcycle
Sons
TV?
of Sons of Anarchy. Funny.
Remember we opened for that guy?
One degree of separation. So Charlie Hunnam is very close friends with my friend Evan Campbell. Evan Campbell actually was his body double when they shot the show, and they've been friends ever since.
Undeclared?
For Sons of Anarchy.
Okay. Yeah.
But he says he's a great guy.
So yeah, I've been listening to Loudon Wainwright, and I've been listening to that last Lee Bains record because I'm excited about the new one.
Yeah, that's cool.
Youth Detention. Nail my
That's a-
feet down to the south side
That's
of
a
town.
really good one too.
Adam?
I've been diving back into some more Nickel Creek again because it's been a
Yep.
while. Some Arlo. I can't remember if his last name is McKinney or McKinley, so I apologize.
I think it's McKinley, but I might be wrong.
Some of that, and I think that's kind of about it for the past.
I have a
like, week
radio
or so.
show
Yes.
that airs on Sundays and Mondays. It's twice a week now.
Oh.
And the episode on Sunday, we got real rowdy. We played a Biffy Clyro song, a Jimmy Eat World song. We did Joan Jett covering Have You Ever Seen the Rain by Creedence Clearwater Revival.
Oh, interesting.
And Motorcycle Drive-By by Third Eye Blind.
That's a good one.
My all-time favorite Third Eye Blind song. Because he makes that sound. Love it. It's a powerful song. What have you been listening to?
Oh, there's a couple. It's kind of funny. I always find things later after they've come out because I just sort of go with my daily playlist.
You heard about these Beatles?
The Beatles? You
Weird,
guys
right?
ever
Really
hear about the
something.
Beatles? The Beatles are excellent.
They say they're equivalent size to Jesus, as I understand. Possibly
Supposedly,
bigger.
Jesus is not quite as big as them, apparently. I would say, what was the one record? Oh, I did finally listen to Houndmouth's new record, which is
That's a
very
good
which is a
record.
very good record for sure. But a band that I never really got into, or never really, I guess I didn't really hear of them. I saw part of their Austin City Limits. Oh, what the heck are they called? It was just on, and then I downloaded a couple of their songs. Now it's gonna bug me. What a waste of time this has been.
Well,
Oh,
you look
Local
for-
Natives.
Oh, I've heard the name. I haven't heard the band.
Yeah,
Good?
Yeah, they're pretty good. So I caught them on like the last few minutes on Austin City Limits, and then they came up in my Spotify feed. But I think you'd like them.
Sure.
They're pretty good.
I'll check it out. There's a band from Canada called, I struggle to say the first word, the Rural Alberta Advantage.
Rural.
Oliver makes fun of me. They have a new EP out. They
tough one.
rip. They're a 3-piece, and the pieces are a singer / acoustic guitar player, a drummer, and a woman who sings harmonies, plays keyboards, and plays bass with her feet.
Oh,
And they're super rowdy, and it's really, really, really interesting and good. It's like super, it's like kind of folky, but like really like loud and rowdy and fun.
that's cool.
Rural Alberta
Rural.
Advantage.
So lastly,
Yes.
very lastly, anybody at Mile that you were excited to see, which you would have just seen because by the time this airs.
Yes. There's a guy from Canada named Del Barber, kind of country folk, really, really good. Played with him once before. Micah Schnabel.
Oh,
is
Mike is coming. That's awesome.
He's in a band called Two Cow Garage, and he does really, really good solo records.
That's right.
There's a guy from Minnesota named Eric Koskinen who plays in Dead Man Winter, who is the singer for Trampled by Turtles, other band.
Oh,
He's really, really good, like country stuff. Dave Hawes is going to be here. He has solo stuff, and he was in a band called The Loved Ones that I like a lot. And we were talking about her. Her name is Jackie Venson.
oh, dude, yeah.
She's coming
excited
back.
to see her.
She rips.
Yep.
And Lizzie Knows coming back.
Oh,
Rips. And there's another woman whose name I forget. She's a guitar player. She plays a 3-pickup SG with a vibrola. Beautiful. And I wish I could remember her name. But she's collaborated with like Brandi Carlile and a bunch of cool folks. So yeah. And there are 3 Spanish-speaking bands that I thought was cool.
Oh, that's
like all
cool.
Spanish language bands. One was called Making Movies, and they're apparently pretty good. Again, I have not listened to them just yet, but
very well. Thank you.
Fairly
Thank
promising.
you, Adam. Again, let's wrap it up today. OnlyFans /Gingerstick. Thank you for your production work in this foot. Are those the same shoes you had on last week?
Yeah, I'm not a big shoe changer.
Okay.
So
I bet your
I
fans.
think I have 2 pair.
I got my going out shoes and my lawn mowing shoes.
I think your
and that's
fans-
it.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true.
Just like I have my going out jeans and my lawn mowing jeans that used to be my going out jeans until the crotch got annihilated.
That's true. That's true. Well, thank you all for listening.
Hit them with
Again,
that email in case they have stuff they want us to talk about.
Email us questions. Email us concerns.
At?
DoOldPod@gmail.com. That's it. We'll see you guys. Bye.
Bye.
3, 2, 1.